I spent 6 weeks designing the ring. Not because it was going to be expensive. I couldn't afford diamonds the size of peas, let alone pebbles. But because I wanted it to feel right. Personal. The band was made of white gold, sleek and simple. The center stone wasn't a diamond but a sapphire, her birthstone, surrounded by tiny lab-grown stones to catch the light. I had the inside engraved with a message only the two of us understood. Still choosing you. It was quiet, it was intentional, and it was from the heart. We had been dating for 3 years. She was the louder one, always online, always capturing moments for Instagram. I was the quieter half, observing, remembering things, staying in the background. She would always joke that we were opposites. You're so off the grid and I'm practically sponsored by Wi-Fi. I laughed. Back then, I thought it was just her charm. So when I planned the proposal, I did something I wouldn't normally do. I leaned into her world. I booked a private dinner at a rooftop restaurant. I coordinated with the staff. I even hired a videographer because she once said, if I ever get proposed to, I want it to go viral for the right reasons. That sentence stuck with me like gum under a shoe. It annoyed me, but I pushed it down. I loved her. Maybe she just wanted to feel celebrated. The night arrived. She wore a crimson dress and took selfies before we even left the house. I wore a navy suit and carried the ring in my jacket pocket. My hands shook. My heart raced. After dessert, I stood up and walked over to her side of the table. And I dropped to one knee. She gasped. The staff clapped. The violinist shifted into something soft and romantic. I pulled out the box, opened it, and asked the question I had rehearsed 100 times in my head. Will you marry me? The camera was rolling. She looked down and laughed. Loud. Disbelief all over her face. A sapphire? She said, eyebrows raised. Are you serious right now? Everyone froze. She turned toward the camera and said, Ladies, this is why you ask for receipts. I told him exactly what I wanted. And he brings me this. My hands, still holding the ring, slowly lowered. My breath caught. The clapping had stopped. Even the violinist didn't know what to do. The only sound left was the wind, the click of her nails tapping her wine glass, and the quiet cracking of something inside me. She stood up and waved her hand at the camera, laughing. Cut that part, I look mean. Let's do it again for TikTok, but get my good side this time. I stayed kneeling for another 2 seconds. Then I stood and said one thing. I stood up slowly, slipping the ring box back into my jacket pocket, and looked her dead in the eyes. The laughter still lingered on her lips, but her eyes flickered, something between confusion and hesitation. The restaurant had gone silent. Phones were recording. The clinking of cutlery had stopped completely. All eyes were on us, on her, waiting to see what I'd do. Break down? Beg? Storm out? Instead, I smiled gently and said, loud enough for everyone to hear, that's okay. This ring was never meant for the woman you became. Her expression cracked. The smirk faded. She blinked once, twice, like she hadn't fully processed what I said. But I didn't wait. I turned to the videographer and said calmly, make sure she gets a copy. She'll need it when people ask her why she's alone. Then I nodded to the staff, left a tip on the table, and walked away, past stunned guests, waiters frozen mid-step, and one violinist who whispered, damn, under his breath. I didn't turn around. I didn't need to. By the time I reached the elevator, my phone had already started buzzing. Friends. Mutuals. Notifications. A few minutes later, someone uploaded a 27-second clip with the caption, when your proposal turns into her downfall, live. It exploded. Within hours, it had over 1.3 million views. People weren't laughing with her anymore. They were dissecting every second. The ring, her face, my sentence. The calm in my voice. The way she looked instantly small after acting so large. Comments poured in. You just watched a man level up in real time. She fumbled a man who knew her soul and still loved her. That line should be printed on shirts. Her followers, the same ones who used to hype every outfit, every makeup tutorial, every couple post, turned on her. They weren't angry about the sapphire. They were disgusted by the arrogance, the mockery, the entitlement. Screenshots of her reaction became memes. Influencer drama channels picked it up. Some defended her. Maybe she was nervous. But most didn't. Because everyone could see it. The ring wasn't the problem. The respect was. She tried to do damage control the next day. Posted a shaky Instagram story about miscommunication. Claiming it was staged, that she didn't mean to humiliate anyone. But people had already made up their minds. The more she spoke, the worse it got. And me? I stayed quiet. Sometimes silence is the loudest thing you can give someone who expected a reaction. And her world? It wasn't crumbling because of what I said. It was crumbling because for the first time, she couldn't edit the truth. It's been 8 months since that night. The video still circles around the internet sometimes, reposted under titles like, "The most elegant breakup ever filmed," or "Proof that class beats clout every time." I never commented on it. Never gave interviews. Never set the record straight. Because it already was. That one sentence said everything that needed to be said. She, on the other hand, tried to ride the storm out. She played the victim in podcasts, tried rebranding herself as a truth teller, even posted teary confessions about how fame pressured her to act differently. But the damage wasn't to her brand. It was to her face, the one she showed the world without filters. And that face had cracked. Brands pulled back. Sponsorships vanished. Her followers dropped like leaves in autumn. People didn't want polished. They wanted real. And for once, she had nothing left to perform with. No script. No control. Last I heard, she deactivated most of her accounts and moved back in with her parents. No one really knows what happened to her after that. And honestly, I don't need to. Because the man I was that night, shaking with hope, ready to give his entire heart, died on that rooftop. In his place, someone else was born. Someone quieter. Wiser. Still kind, but not naive. I took time off work. Traveled alone for the first time. Picked up photography. Started writing again. Stories I had shelved for years because I was too busy supporting her dreams. And somewhere along the way, in a bookstore on a rainy Tuesday, I met someone. Not a whirlwind romance. Not butterflies and fireworks. Just two people who liked the same author and laughed at the same misplaced comma. We've had coffee a few times. No big gestures. No cameras. And it feels peaceful. Sometimes, people ask me if I regret proposing that night. If I wish I had seen through her earlier. If I'm angry. But I'm not. Because loving her taught me the value of quiet love. The kind that doesn't need to be filmed, staged, or broadcast. And losing her reminded me of something even more important. Respect is louder than romance. She had the attention of the world for 5 seconds. I got my self-respect back for life. That night, she laughed at my ring. But I gave her a sentence. Just one. And it echoed longer than any diamond ever could.